We are live. All right. Well, welcome back to Carlastrology. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I have two special guests with me today. Well, Maria is not really a guest. Yeah, you got to get your own stuff from this point on. We have Maria from Lady Knight of Avalon, and then we have Strength Reversed Amy. And I even did that
Hello.
reversed. Okay, so anyway, we're talking about the fours today in tarot. Just,
Yeah.
to clarify there. So, on that note, we are at the tarot roundtable doing brunch, and we all just had something, I'm sure, to eat.
I did.
Yeah. We were discussing that, because that's always a good thing. And we want to discuss anything and everything that is related to the fours. So, my question, and I think I'll start with you, Maria. What do the fours symbolize to you? What do they mean to you in tarot?
Hmm. Well, for me, the fours are about stability and consistency in the good and bad aspects. So, with a sense of stability, there can also be stagnation if you don't move forward. And so, yeah, like all of that is like the overall thing of the four for me.
What about you, Amy?
I think the fours for me symbolize kind of a resting point, which all of the even numbers do, but also stability, structure, foundation, balance, and that's pretty much it. But also in its negative aspect, it can be a little bit of stuckness.
Perfect. So the fours are associated with Saphira, the chest. I believe that means mercy, kindness, and love as far as in the Kabbalistic tree of life. um, so for me, it's, yeah, thank you. That's it right there.
Yeah.
So that is the Hermetic, right? Or do you just actually, is that something that is part of?
No, I always have this with me now since I'm studying that stuff. So yeah, we're on Chesed now.
Nice.
Number 4.
Excellent. So with also with the 4, we have the Emperor and the Death card. So today I would like to start on the wands. So what decks have you picked out for us today, Maria?
I have so many. I counted. I have 12 decks altogether to pull cards from, and I've got like the RWS, the Before and After Tarot. I got my various Golden Dawn decks. I've got the Los Scarabeo Tarot. I've got the. I always want to say Desperate Housewives Tarot, but no, it's just the Housewives Tarot. I got my Vampire deck, my Haunted House, my Röhrig, and the New Mythic Tarot.
Wow. So which one do you want to start with?
Let's see. So we're not going to start with the majors? No?
You know what? If you would like to, we can definitely do that.
No, it's your hosting. You tell me what you want to start with. So let's do the Four of Wands.
Well, what did you prepare for? Because I have everything sitting in front of me.
I got everything. So
of course you do. What decks did you pick out, Amy?
I have the Rider-Waite, but the holographic, because I have to have a little zing. Okay. And the Robin Wood, the Mott Tarot, the Japaridze Tarot, Tarot of the Weird, Santa Muerte, and the Titanic.
Oh, wow.
Titanic Tarot.
Titanic. I can't wait to see that. I have not seen any of that. That is so cool. Well, how about then, would you ladies mind starting with the wands?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, Maria, I'll let you.
Okay. So As you know, something that I always do nowadays, like going back to the point of origin, which is the Golden Dawn, to kind of compare all the different images and to see where in our modern decks we find elements of like what it was originally in the way that we do tarot now in the Western way of tarot. And so I have here so it's a bit bluish here, but yeah. So this is from the Golden Dawn Tarot. And the card in the Golden Dawn is referred to as the Lord of Perfected Work. And this is also Venus in Aries. And what we see here are two hands that are coming from the clouds on each side. And what they're doing is like this, the hand gesture that they're making is referred to as the first grip of the Order. So of the Order of the Golden Dawn, like they also had some specific signs that they were using for each other. And so we have this like meeting in the middle, and they're holding these 4 wands. We also got, let's see, like these flames there for the element of fire. And they come together at the point of junction. And in the Golden Dawn, they were assigning this card rest after labor, completion of something that was built with trouble. And this is the conclusion drawn from previous knowledge. Even though it doesn't seem like much here. In the Hermetic Tarot, that's what it would look like. And here we also have the astrological symbols, the Venus in Aries, which also symbolizes harmony and like the coming together of love and war with Venus and Aries. And yeah, the gripping of the hands, I also wrote down, as the idea of a structured manifestation, which we also see like in the RWS with like the, what's that, the canopy, like a structure that is built and we are manifesting something in here. I also have like this is the Initiatory Golden Dawn. And here we still have the clouds and the hands coming out and like the flames and everything. And this lady kind of scares me, but I guess that's just because the light is coming from below. It has like this flashlight campfire effect. But yeah, this lady is kind of scary. I don't know if I want to run into her. But overall, for me, the Four of Wands is about like celebrating a union, which we kind of see in the classic RWS card. And it also talks to me about like harvest, because I don't really know what they're celebrating here. So it could be after like a harvest fest or something. And getting the rewards after work. And it's like the 4 legs of a table. It's like a solid base, something that you can build on top of. And for me personally, this card is also like the wedding card in the deck, if I'm reading like relationship topics.
Nice. So how about you, Amy?
Well, okay, one thing that I heard about the 4s and about stability that just always stuck in my brain was that you can't roll a square. So that's always how I remember that structure and kind of time to get together, get yourself together for the next stage of events and decide which direction you want to go. That's how I remember the 4s. And there's a wealth of information on Carol's channel, and I know Carol's on here. Her videos about all of the aces, 2s, 3, 4s, I think up to 8 or 9. They're so good. They're so good, and there's so much information. And so I did review my notes, Carol, before today. But I have, of course, there's this, the foundation for something new, like a new relationship, a new partnership, celebrating this wedding. But I heard somewhere that this is like the beginning stages of tower energy, that if this goes too long, it's like, when you plan a wedding and you're so excited for the wedding, and then the wedding happens and there's this sort of letdown because you don't know what to do with all of that energy. And so this is, to me, a very temporary card, because it's that stage where everything has manifested into this, and then, the celebration can only last so long, and then you have to get to the marriage part, and that's not nearly as fun as the wedding.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Oh.
But then this is the Mott Tarot, and I love this idea of the house. Like, these settlers came and they built this house and this structure, and they can start a family here. This is not what she says in the guidebook, but it's how I see it. And then we have the Japaridze Tarot, which is kind of dancing around the maypole and coming together and celebrating something. Tarot of the Weird is called Family. And I like that, this, place where the family meets and is set up. And then I have the Santa Muerte, which is, wait a minute. Now this is Wands. I think she's selling flowers or something. It's kind of like a new venture. But then we have these 4 wands in the Titanic Tarot, and they're just kind of bound together and floating there in the ocean. It's like this stable, like, coming together of it's like so many tarot cards, it's hard to verbalize sometimes what's in my brain about the card. So I just have to start yammering, and hopefully something coherent comes out of my mouth.
You know what? I agree with that. I totally understand that. Especially with my my menopause fog that happens so often.
Yeah. I'm going to blame it on that. It's some sort of hormonal fog.
Yep, I get it. So any people out there in audience land, what do you think of the 4s? I can see a little bit here and there. Let me know. Or the 4 wands. I was noticing because I have the golden foil, which is the Rider-Waite. I don't know if you can see that too well, but it's a stage card also, and we just did something on that. So it's like these are the actors; they're playing a role, and I can see also, like, I think I had read this is considered like the vacation card. That one is too shiny. I have the manga tarot also. It's my daughter's. I bought it for her, and she said, "Well, Mom, if you want to use it, go ahead." Okay. I guess that means she wasn't really that interested, I was, trying to see if she would get a little interested, but that's all right, kid. I'll take it.
You never know.
And I have the Light Seers 4 of Wands, so I can definitely see the celebration. And depending on what's next to it, or if it's reversed, then all those things that you had previously mentioned definitely come into play for me. But I definitely look at it as both of those things, celebration, and then when you're done, it's like, okay, time to refocus.
Well, with the stage, that makes sense, because a lot of, a wedding or that kind of celebration is about a ritual, and that kind of grounds us and brings us together and kind of resets our focus for, what are we doing here and what's the purpose, the meaning of everything. But it is temporary. You can't be Christmas every day.
Yeah. I got some other interesting cards here. Like when you said you can't roll a square, And my Röhrig tarot, the wands are actually inside the this ball, which is kind of like glass. So it's just hovering there. But if it comes crashing down, that glass is going to break. So that's like a very fragile kind of energy. It's there, and as long as it's in there, everything is good and fine. But it can come crashing down, which I think is very interesting.
That
And
is very interesting.
a very different depiction is in my haunted house, and here it kind of reminds me of like Eyes Wide Shut kind of stuff. But it's also like they are celebrating something, and no matter what they celebrate, this doesn't really give me wedding vibes, but there's still a celebration, and they seem to be happy about what they're doing. All a matter of perspective, I guess.
Yeah, and like Amy said, that looked very ritualistic.
Mm-hmm. And then a very different one is in Housewives, because she's just resting, and all the other people are doing the work on the house, and she gets some time off, and she is celebrating herself for maybe a job well done or delegating in a very good way. And so she got a book and a martini or whatever that is, and so yeah, she's just hanging out for a while.
But eventually, the house is going to be done and she's going to be left to deal with what's next, or they're going to get
Yeah.
tired of her and they're going to knock out one of those wands from underneath her.
Mm. Yeah, like one
Marion
person
says
back is
the part of
putting
the
the
wedding,
wreath on.
the 4 is the nice part and the 5 is the fight once the alcohol flows at the reception.
I know, that's awesome. Yep.
The morning after card.
Yeah.
And I really like Jonathan said that the 4s are stable but stagnant unless you're able to embrace the discomfort of the 5s. And oh my goodness, yes. I feel like after all those retrogrades and portals that we had, it's like we have been experiencing the 4s wholeheartedly lately.
Mm-hmm.
At least I know I have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, we're still in, like, we came out of Mercury retrograde and we went into, what was it, Saturn retrograde?
Was it Neptune retrograde as well? I think I saw that on Instagram.
I think we have quite a few, like, simultaneously. Sometimes, yeah.
All right. So now let's move on to drum roll, the 4 of Cups. And we will start with you, Maria. And I think I'm going to give you a close-up.
Let me get my cards. Okay. Oops. Where are my notes? Okay.
Oh, Neptune goes this week. Oh.
Yeah. But I think, like, the outer planets are not too much something to worry about. I think since Mercury is much closer, that is like something to look out for. And the one thing I learned with Mars in retrograde is not to have any surgeries and medical procedures done during that time.
That's interesting.
Because then you'll be going back to the doctor because they need to fix whatever wasn't right the first time.
Which retrograde is that?
Mars.
Oh, Mars.
Like, when Mars is in retrograde, stay away from the gods in white.
Okay.
So Carol says it's also helpful to know that the occult number, must be numbers 3, 4, and 4 is considered spiritual.
Maybe it's a 444?
Maybe. Indicating that the threefold aspect of man now is Earth, bound to begin his evolutionary journey back to source. Yeah, I feel that one. Definitely. Oh, and then Jonathan says we also have the March of Planets going on with the 7 planets in alignment. Yeah,
That's
I think
right,
that is so cool.
Hey, Jezebel.
So, are you ready, Maria, to show your stuff?
I'm ready to show my stuff. Okay. So, I've got the Golden Dawn Tarot here again. And with this one, it is called the Lord of Blended Pleasure. we have Moon in Cancer now, and we see a hand holding a lotus, and the lotus flower is up here, and out of the flower comes the water that goes into the two upper cups that are now overflowing and letting the water flow into the two bottom cups, which are not overflowing. Like the water stays in here, it doesn't go out. And then we also have these two leaves here, which form a cross in the middle of all of these cups. And yeah, so what did I write down? So in the Golden Dawn, they wrote about this in sense of success or pleasure, approaching the end. So it's like it's flowing in here, but it doesn't come out again. So there seems to be an ending to the pleasure. A stationary period in happiness, which may or may not continue. There's a question mark right there. It's too passive to represent perfectly complete happiness. And some drawbacks to pleasure are implied because the flow is ending. And just to show you the Hermetic Tarot. So here we have a little bit more of the water, but even here it's going into the bottom cups and it doesn't come out of there. Like it's not flowing down. So it ends in that sense. And oops, in the Initiatory Golden Dawn, it's a bit different because the flower is here. There's still the hand. This time it's coming out of the water. And there is small fountains coming out of the flowers. But here the person is holding the cups and it's going from one to the next to the next. But then there's one that is not even being hit, like there's nothing being filled into this cup. And that kind of goes more into the traditional cups thing that we know, with the 3 cups standing there and another one there. And so for me, the 4 of Cups is about discontent. There might be also an element of doubt, which I can see in the Lo Scarabeo cup. Like someone is still filling that cup and the others are just like turned over, like, nah, not having it. We have the traditional picture in the back. And there's also an element of suspicion for me, disappointment, which might be planting the seed for betrayal. And there's a growing awareness that something is wrong, with the cups being the emotional suit. So for me, the 4 of Cups forces me to explore my feelings in an honest way and really ask myself, why do I feel this way? And there's also this underlying sense of like maybe boredom, maybe feeling depressed, feeling let down, and this feeling of I have to challenge my previous assumptions. And yeah, like in the Vampire Tarot, or the Vampiria, the French deck that I have, something that I find very interesting, like here the cups are mirrors and they're all facing away from each other. Like none of these are facing towards each other. It's like, nah, we're not even having this. Like this is, no, we're each doing our own thing. And the feelings or anything, nothing is connected. It's going into all kinds of different directions. Or with Haunted House, here she has those 3 cups standing before her, and there's a skeleton hand coming from behind the chair offering another glass, and she's just like, nah. But she doesn't really look bored. She looks kind of angry in a way. So yeah, she has some sort of feelings about the situation, and she's not really ready to deal with that. And something that I also find interesting in the After Tarot, he's just taking the cup and emptying it out. Like, nope, I don't need this. So those are the cards that I have.
All right. I was just taking care of something there. Okay. Oh, I moved you around. I'm just messing around
That's
here.
okay.
I had to get rid of that destroyer. He's bugged me.
Oh, are they here? Damn.
So, what about you, Amy? What you got for us?
Okay, well, I have the Robin Wood. Now, the Robin Wood seems very similar to the Rider Waite, but this cup right here, Robin Wood, in her totally awesome guidebook, best guidebook ever, describes this cup as everything's backwards. This cup as kind of fading in and out. And so you don't know if this cup is appearing and being offered or if it's disappearing because he hasn't made a choice or taken the initiative. So there is this sense of use it or lose it. But also, I feel like there's also, it doesn't have to be someone ignoring options or not seeing an option. It can be, but it also can be not consciously deciding not to make a choice. Like, I'm going to sit here and take my time and think about this. And so I have some other cups, that Four of Cups, that are just about sitting and thinking. Like, this one is called Rumination, and I love that because I see this, and I love Victorian things, and I can see this whole story about this woman thinking about, which guy she should marry or something like that. And then the Titanic Tarot, you see this person sitting in the chair thinking about their options. But there is a sense of stuckness also. Here in the Japaridze, you see these people with their backs to each other, and so they don't even notice each other or help each other. They don't see what's right there, maybe some other options. They don't really seem to have a plan for where they're going to go. And then in the Santa Muerte, he's really hung up. You see he's staring at this heart down here. He's really hung up, and sometimes pining for the past keeps us from really making new choices or moving forward, longing for what might have been. Maybe you're brokenhearted, and sometimes it's hard to look up and see anything else around you or see new opportunities. And this is the Four of Cups in the Mott Tarot, and this is Morgana Le Fay, and I think this is Lancelot. I never remember any names of characters ever. This is Lancelot, and there's three women here, and they're all offering themselves to him, but he's so in love with someone else that he turns away all of the options. So,
wow.
You don't have to pick. You can take your time and think about it, but eventually you got to do something.
Yep. Yes. Jonathan said, I often see the Four of Cups as the apathy card, but it sometimes comes through as a reminder to meditate, to find your emotional balance and stability. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I like the Four of Cups in the Light Seers because she reflects that she's down, she's depressed, she's definitely thinking and hopefully regrouping. But this does remind me of like after, the night after, and you're just, a little bit disconnected and trying to figure out how to get back to reality. But it's one thing nice about the Light Seers. You don't really have to guess to the meaning. You can just look at it and be like, yeah, I get that. And the other one that I pulled out again was the manga. And that one is like, I don't know. I can see a little bit of kind kind of like what you were talking about earlier, being offered and just like not wanting any of it because you're too into yourself. What you got going on is a little bit more important than what's being offered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that self-reflection, but going deep, shadow work. So, all right. Moving on from the cups to the swords. Oh, we got one more here. I'm going to show you this real quick. Oops. Fingers are. Four of Cups is like the come down after the party of the Three of Cups. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I definitely agree with that one. And I don't have those anymore, thank goodness. But oof, when I did, I burned a lot of brain cells. So, all right, Maria, what do you have for us?
So in the Golden Dawn tarot, what we see here is we've got two hands once again coming out of the clouds, and they are holding four swords. Well, in this, they're kind of like grouped together. And if we go back to the three, if we remember that, the 5-petaled rose was cut apart into all 5 petals, and now it's back together and meeting the swords at the intersection. And so the peace from and after war, the quietness, that is being restored, kind of. So in the 3, we had like the battling and everything, and now we get to this resting place, and the recovery from sickness and a change for the better. And the 2 hands refer to the influence of Chokmah, which is the number 2, which is right above the 4 on the Tree of Life. And the Chokmah is the father, which kind of brings us all full circle with the Emperor. And that is enforcing a state of peace. So that's what the Golden Dawn has to say about this card. And this is in the Hermetic Tarot. And the card is called the Lord of Rest from Strife. And we now have Jupiter in Libra. And here we also have the 2 hands. They're not holding the swords. So here we have the 4 individual swords, but also the rose in the middle. And in the modern version, I kind of like this one. Like here we have the 4 swords with a rose each, like 2 and 2, on the shields hanging on the wall. And then we have this warrior. His armor is put to the side, and he's got like all kinds of bandages and stuff. Like he just came back from battle. And then there's this woman comforting him, and he's got the food in front of him, and he's done. Like he needs to rest, which kind of goes hand in hand with the classic card where the warrior is resting after the fight. And in the After Tarot, we also have a woman coming there to check on him. And for me, the 4 of Swords is about withdrawal and contemplation, which I can also find in the Lo Scarabeo Tarot. Like he's sitting there meditating, and the swords are on this piece of cloth, whatever you would call that. And it's a time for introversion and like getting yourself back together after conflict. And I like this in the Housewives Tarot. She's got the knives stuck there in this thing, and she's just sitting there meditating. She sliced the cucumbers, but she's using them to do some self-care for herself, like put on a mask, put those cucumbers on the eyes, and let the world be the world. Like, this is my time now. I need to get back to myself, reorganize my thoughts and everything, and have this kind of need for solitude to also like recognizing the value of this peace and quiet time. Let's see, what else do I have here? So in the haunted house, here we also have these like the nightmares coming out and whatever it is, but she's still sleeping. The Four Swords are hanging there quietly. And so, yeah, this is now the time for rest. Let the nightmares be nightmares. You can deal with them later. Just take some rest. They will go away at some point. And yeah, so another one here is the New Mythic Tarot. He's also sitting there meditating. He's got the swords in front of him, and he's just contemplating what to do next. So those are the cards that I have.
Very interesting with the swords making like 8 points instead of, since there's 4 swords. It's pretty cool. So Jonathan says, in the original RWS Four Swords, the stained glass has the word Pax hidden in the halo of the saint, meaning peace, specifically deep spiritual peace. Oh, wow. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. Yes. Your turn, Amy. What you got?
Well, I always think of the Four of Swords. I really like this card for some reason as one of the big meditation cards. Like you need to, meditate, but also kind of a time to get your mind right, because the Swords especially tells this story, if you start with the 2, of kind of a status quo in the 2, or things are working, and so there's not, you don't have to like choose one of the decisions and maybe not thinking about things, but then in the 3, shit gets real and something happens that kind of shatters that status quo, and it can be very disturbing. It can be very difficult. And then in the 4, it's time to get our mind right and come to terms with that and think about it. But it is, again, very temporary, because it's like before we get to the 5, which is the next step, we have to really kind of come to grips with our purpose and our beliefs and how we're going to approach things. And so in a lot of, especially Carla in the Light Seers, I know she's in the little nest, and eventually, like, these swords are going to fall out of the tree. Eventually there's going to be some movement that we have to be ready for. But I really like this idea of going inside yourself and knowing what your beliefs are and what you want your path to be, and making choices for yourself based on what just happened. In the Japaridze, this almost reminds me of the Four of Cups. He's sitting under this tree, ruminating about, life and about what he's going to do next. And we have the Four of Cutlery, this one, which I love. I love the knives and the forks, but it's called Rest, and that makes sense. And the same in the Titanic, where it's like he's coming to terms with his fate, and he has to decide how he's going to do this and how he wants this moment to look, because it happened and he's stuck there. And so now he can kind of resign himself to this. Now the Santa Muerte I really like, because it has these nails. They're nailing a coffin shut, and it's almost like sensory deprivation, like kind of leaving this world even momentarily through meditation, so that you're not bombarded with everything that's happening from the outside, and you can, get right with yourself. And this is an interesting take on the Four of Swords. This is like the Iceman, the Neanderthal, or whoever it was that was buried for thousands of years in the at the mountains between, Italy and, where was it? Between Italy and France, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And comes back to life and has all sorts of things to tell us.
No doubt. That was fantastic. That is very interesting. I love Julia. Okay, so I also want to show here. Marion said, "For me, the Four of Swords speaks of the phrase rest in peace. In the RWS, I see the knight being a stone tomb." So I like that. And I think, without getting right to the death card, that's what that reminds me of, because death is also transformation, and and then I find it funny, it's Jupiter in Libra. So I see more of like in the reverse, where you do all that, then you come out and you are more awakened. So and it's from that balancing act, that the Librians do. So it's just, I don't know. That's kind of my take on that. And with me being a newbie, I am eating up everything so far of everything that you ladies have said. So I'm blabbering at this moment right now. So I'm going to see what else
I want to say something about this, like the tomb thing, because that also takes me back to like one of my cartoons that I used to watch was Gargoyles. And they do have the whole King Arthur and Avalon thing in there as well. And they say that Arthur is resting in Avalon, and he is staying there until he is meted again. So that kind of also reminds me of this, like King Arthur, he's just waiting until someone calls on him again.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. All right.
That's how I feel after a year of teaching. I just have to withdraw from the world and like hole up. It's like, don't talk to me, okay? I don't exist, and I have to like remind myself how precious life is. I need one night in the tomb, okay?
Yeah, literally. I feel you there. I do that with my grandbabies. I mean, I love them dearly, but they are full of a lot of energy. So and I get exhausted from all their energy, if you know what I mean. So now we are moving on to the last suit, the Four of Pentacles. And I will let you take it away, Maria.
Okay. So we're going to start with this card from the Golden Dawn. And here we see a hand once again coming out of the cloud. And here is a rose branch that is coming out. But instead of flowers, it has the pentacles at the end. And there is a little rose flower here. In some Golden Dawn decks, it might be white. Here it's a red one. And so this, the fact that it's here in the middle kind of separates this, and it gives us this feeling as above, so below, because we have like, it's perfectly mirrored. And the Golden Dawn also says that this card is about material gain, success, rank, dominion, earthly power, completed, but leading to nothing beyond this. And the card is also called the Lord of Earthly Power, and it is the Sun in Capricorn card here. And so let's see, in the Hermetic Tarot, this is what it looks like. Also, like, we have the rose branch. This one here even has thorns. We've got the rose in the middle, and then in equal parts the pentacles. And let's see. So for me, I don't know what the Golden Dawn also says. It's also about like prejudice, suspicion, coveting things. No, coveting things. I can't read my own notes. Sorry. Coveting things carefully, and there's no real enterprise or originality behind it. And I can see that in the Initiatory Golden Dawn deck. Like he has this whole castle thing there, and he holds the big ass key to even what he's sitting on, like his treasure chest or whatever that is. But that's all it is. Like there's nothing else there. It's just that. And for me, the Four of Pentacles is also the kind of, like, I call it my Ebenezer Scrooge card, because it's that guy, like he has his castle, and he's kind of like in the Los Scarabeo, he's like in his four walls, and he's just sitting there. But there's nothing else. Like this is like the stagnation. What comes next? Like, yeah, you have this nice big castle, but what do you actually do with it? Especially if you just lock yourself inside and don't have anyone to share this with. And let's see what else. Like something interesting in the New Mythic Tarot. Here we have, like, he's the teacher, this is the apprentice, and here we have jealousy coming into play, because the apprentice is doing something that the teacher's like, oh my god, like he's better than I am, like he's doing this really great thing, so I need to hold on to what I have created, like holding on to the past and making sure he's not letting it go, and kind of shying away from moving into the future, which is also like this kind of stagnation. And so for me, it also means like being anxiously attached to money and having everything like in a tight grasp, like no one takes this away from me, like the Ebenezer Scrooge kind of person. And in doing so, stopping the flow of energy. Like if you just hold on to that, like you can't, like they always say, like you need to let your money work for you. But if you just like hold on really tight, like you can't really do that. And you need to spend money to get money, that kind of thing. So this for me is also a card where I question value and worth of things. And in locking myself in or something, I also see a lack of confidence. And in a way, and this is from the After Tarot, it's also kind of like maybe hoarding something, not giving anything away. Like, this is mine, go away. I can't declutter. I can't do that. Don't ask me to do that. And what's interesting, bringing this to the Death card, now the Death is actually making an appearance in the Four of Pentacles card in the After Tarot. And I thought that was a nice twist, like bringing this back around to the 13, the Death card. And another one that I find really cute is in my haunted house, like this kind of voodoo doll, but also really holding on to that one pentacle in their hands, and like the other pentacles right here, the eyes and the little button. But yeah, holding on to it and not letting go. Even the voodoo doll just can't let go of it. So yeah, that's my take on the Four of Pentacles.
Bye, Jonathan.
Bye, Jonathan.
Bye.
All right, Amy.
Well, I have a few cards here that are that materialism kind of aspect to the Four of Pentacles, where it's the Ebenezer Scrooge kind of miser card, which is one flavor of this card. I do like the After Tarot interpretation of that, because if you hold on too tightly to your money and you're too cheap and you don't want to, spend money on a vacation or spend money on, something fun, that's really not living life. You might as well just, you're giving up a lot of life by living that way if you're so tight that you squeak. But the Robin Hood card to me is a very negative looking, sunken cheeks, not very healthy looking, and he looks like he is afraid to move and has trapped himself inside these four walls. And so that is part of the four. It can be stability, but at some point, if you don't move at all, you get stagnant. And then here is in the Tarot of the Weird, this is the suit of watches, which I love for the suit of pentacles, because time is really what connects us to this world. And so I love that suit. But this is just called materialism, being attached too much to the material. And then we have the Four of Gardens in the Japarize Tarot, where this person is being controlled, or almost like you said, Maria, there's something, you're trying to imitate or seem a certain, it's like the Instagram card, you want it to make people think you're living your best life. But this one in the Santa Muerte, you see this huge person, it's almost like a bridezilla looking woman, is plucking this guy up from in front of the bank. And this deck talks about if you're too focused on this, then you get too comfortable in a certain way, that sometimes forces that are bigger than us come along and, help us change. And might not be change we really want. In the Titanic Tarot, you see these 4 coins and then a safe. And so, all of these valuables that were locked in this safe are still there. They're still safe, but they're gone forever. And that kind of goes with these sometimes bigger forces. We have to have something to fall back on besides just what was in that safe, because that can be gone at any time. But I really like the Mott Tarot, because this is a husband and wife, and at first I thought it was a store, but it's in the guidebook, it says they're in their root cellar, and they have made use of all of their resources and all of the things that maybe they could sell, but basically their material possessions, their money, and the things that they've grown, they're putting it to use, and they're prepared. But all of this stuff is probably going to get used. And so I think of the story of the grasshopper and the ant, where, they worked hard and they planned, but they're also going to live well while they're here. That's it.
I love that. And I kind of see the 4 Pentacles, it could be good or bad depending on, what you're asking. Like in a relationship reading, I could see, like what you were talking about, Maria, being like maybe some jealousy going on. But maybe career, that's where like, well, this is a step in the right direction, but it's temporary. Jonathan said the 4 Pentacles is also called the King with a Brass Crown, the poor man who thinks himself is rich and can't stand letting go of any of the money. Definitely the hoarding prospect there. Marion says, yes, that 4 Pentacles with death behind it reminds me of a saying we have over here. There are no pockets in a shroud, meaning you can't take it with you. And I love that.
But I also do like the aspect, because in the Rider-Waite, he's very serene looking, and, he's in alignment. And to me, this card can also be about healthy boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing when to not let someone in, or knowing when you're not going to give your resources away, because he has like his crown chakra, his heart chakra, and he's all in balance, and he's kind of protecting that. And so I like this aspect of that too.
And that makes sense, because it's the sun in Capricorn. And when I think of Capricorn, I think of those go-getter, business-oriented type people. And then the sun shining light on that. So again, I think that's good. And the light seers, it does kind of look like she might be hoarding a little bit there. But so okay, I don't want to go too much longer, but I would like to hear your ladies' associations with the major arcana, which would be Death and the Emperor. Association with the 4s. So, Maria, what do you think?
Well, I think for me, the depiction of the emperor is very interesting. So going back to, okay, let's have those next to each other. So what we see here originally, the emperor was like, there's this green background. He's wearing something red, and the red and green here symbolize the union between Mars and Venus. So there is a balance. So that the emperor is a very balanced card. He's also called the son of the morning because in Aries we start the spring season, and yeah, so he. What we know from the traditional card, like he has his armor underneath his emperor robes. So he exchanged his sword for a wand, and he's coming from a place of knowledge. Like he knows what the battlefield looks like, but now he's the one commanding everything. Like he could go out if he really needed to, but he's like in command now. He's telling people what to do, where to go, and he's like this fatherly energy. But what's interesting, in the Golden Dawn cards, we usually have the emperor with the ram at his feet. We don't have that in the RWS, but in the After Tarot, they put it in again, and I actually like this card better than this one, because that's like more in line. Not focus. Hello, blurry. Yeah, that's like more in line of there we go, with the Golden Dawn, how they originally saw it. And what I like about this one in the Initiatory Golden Dawn is he's only wearing his Emperor robe, and he completely took off his armor. He's like pretty much almost naked underneath it. So he's really embracing this being an emperor and not going out to the battlefield anymore, which I like, because now he got promoted, he has a new job, and so he is like the kingdom is behind him, so he knows what he's like working for. And for me, this card is always about like there's war and conquest, there's victory, there's also like the bad aftertaste that comes with some kind of conquest, because there, even though someone is a winner, there also has to be a loser. So it's like a different perspective. There's ambition, and the Emperor for me is also a card about responsibility, taking responsibility, and being aware of what you're doing. And some other cards that I have, let's see. So in the Haunted House, this one is very interesting. Like he doesn't have the kingdom behind him, but we see what he took from his kingdom, like his conquests and everything. And he has a globe, so the world that he is ruling over, and he can go out anytime again. Like he has his rifle ready. He doesn't have to. He can also stay at home. And in the Vampiria, here we got like this Louis XIV kind of vibe. So he's like presiding over everything. He's telling people what to do. But we know that he also went to war, and at least he was on the battlefield, even if he, I don't know if he actually fought, but he would at least be part of the action in some sense. So, yeah. And one of the really nice glamorous cards is in the Röhrig Tarot, which is like old Hollywood kind of thing. I don't know what actor this would be, if this is a real one or just make-believe. But I kind of like him with this typical like emperor king kind of robe, and like very
looks like Paul Newman.
Sophisticated.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Paul Newman.
Looks like Paul Newman.
Oh, okay.
It might not be.
And yeah, like this is just giving me like he's looking to the side, and the way that this deck, like he's looking towards the future. So he is resting in himself. He knows what he's doing. He's got a plan, and he's going to execute that plan. So yeah, that's what I have about the Emperor.
Nice. Amy?
The Emperor to me is the dad card. So here we have the father. And to me, this is everything that a father is: responsible, someone who sacrifices, someone who's going to give up so that to take care of others. He's the enforcer, although he is enforcing the Empress's will. So he's not his own will. He enforces someone else's will. But he's kind of the one who will make sacrifices to protect others or to guide others. And now in the Japarize, it's called war. And I feel like this is one really negative aspect of this card, because in reverse, the Emperor can be tyrannical and can be controlling and maybe abusive or abuse his power. But here we have in the Santa Muerte, you see he's been to battle. He has a false leg here, but he's ready to fight again if he needs to protect his family. He has like this just legit machine gun. He's ready to go. In the Titanic Tarot, this is Thomas Andrews, and he was an architect, and he was in charge of, I think he like supervised the blueprints and stuff, and he was on the Titanic and went down with the ship because he helped people on the ship get into lifeboats. So he was like, it's my responsibility, and I'm going to sacrifice so other people can don't have to go without. And then in the Mott Tarot, this is the horned, the green man, who is, sacrificed so that the crops grow, and he does what he has to do to take care of the people that he is, I guess, in charge of, for lack of a better word. That's it.
Okay. Okay. So, Carol had said earlier, a good point, Amy. Thank you for bringing out the alignment of the person's image. Also, the positions of his hand indicate movement shifting of some sort sooner or later. And then Lisa was talking about in the Rider-Waite, the ram on the throne. If you can see that. It's there. And then also on the arms. And yeah, the Emperor has, what we say, Mars in Aries. So that's like pow, pow, So if I was to associate the Emperor with the fours, I think that shows the progression from early on in the journey, and then what the prospect is, going through the Emperor becoming very controlled, or reining in all of it, and then you're a higher octave of that. And then death obviously is the rebirth after you've rested, and that transformation can begin. So I do want to definitely talk about death. And I also want to ask you ladies what you think about the Fool on that journey, because Fool, if it's at the end of the journey, could be considered 22 if it was numbered. But then we don't necessarily have to look at the number 22 being 4 as much as just being partway on that journey. So what do you think about that, Maria?
About the Fool? Well, I think if I put it in the sense of the fours, then I guess I see something from the Death card in it, but not anything from the from the Emperor, because the Fool for me, it lacks the structure, the stability. And I did pull some cards, like for example in the After Tarot, he's still like, he just fell off the cliff. He's hanging on, but he still doesn't really have a care in the world. So that to me is not very Emperor-esque. but something is changing in his life. So another good example of that would be like in this Vampiria tarot. Like he is the newborn vampire, and he's coming out of the coffin even though the sun hasn't gone down yet. So his hand starts burning. So yeah, like he has just been changed. His entire life is about to change, but he still lacks the foundation and everything to know what this vampire life is going to be about. And even like in the Golden Dawn, like they always depict either a man or a child with a wolf. And so even though the wolf might be on a leash or just standing next to the kid or the man, there is this element of the wild and unknown, and the kid doesn't really pay attention to it too much and doesn't really see the danger. So the Emperor would definitely treat the situation differently. And so that's why I, like, if I had to put it into this category, it would be more aligned with Death, not with the Emperor.
Gotcha. So, Amy.
Well, I don't know about the Fool. I think that the Four has some life experience and they're getting ready to move forward. And I think the Four can be sort of a mini Death in that it's a transformation. And so I have some Death cards, and I think Death is a woman, and she just is, okay? Mm-hmm. And so I like a female Death card because I like the idea of a woman being a creator and a destroyer, and also just this, connection to this cycle. Everything that's alive has to die, and from death, there's a transformation. And it can be physical death or just like a shedding of a skin or, a new layer of meaning or a transition into something else, which I think is the Four is kind of that time of thinking about your transition. This is the Mott Tarot, and I love, this is Hathor, and you see the cow's heads represent like the female uterus and the fallopian tubes, and so it's about creating, but it's also, she is, strongly connected to death, and then when you die, you are in a tomb. And we've seen, for example, the Four of Swords, you kind of go back into your mother, back into the womb, and like the knights going back into the tomb for one night to appreciate life. So that's how I think that death is connected to the boars.
Well, I think that you ladies are brilliant, and I love having these discussions with you. And I would like to invite anybody that would like to join in on this to come on, let Maria or I know, and come on and talk about the tarot with us. We are going to be exploring the fives next. And I was kind of wondering what you ladies have going on your YouTube channel. What's coming up for you, Amy?
Nothing. No, I think I have a VR that I'm mulling over to Anna Astrolady Tarot about the backlash against the feminine and the RWS.
Nice. I'll be tuning in. So, Maria, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Well,
our discussion today?
I just wanted to show like one of my favorite death cards in the Housewives Tarot.
That is
bad mayonnaise, the salmonella. So yeah, that's gonna be a very different new beginning after this.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
That's hilarious. So what do you have going on, Maria? What do you have next?
Well, there are a few hashtags that I've been seeing, and I might do one or few. Like I definitely want to do the deck FOMO one that I saw, because some of the things that you said, Amy, were very interesting, got me thinking in a very different direction. So, and then there might be another one. I don't remember which one it was, but I wrote it down somewhere. So yeah. And otherwise, I think the next episode, like of the Tarot Brunch Roundtable, Would be on the 2nd of July, I believe, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
thank you. Yeah, because you know.
And yeah,
menopause
so
stuff.
that one will be on my channel again. And of course, we're gonna have another guest. So yeah, tune in.
Well, thank you again, ladies, and thank you everybody that showed up for our chat. And I will hopefully see everybody later and be checking out all the YouTube stuff. And I hope you ladies have a good rest of your evening. And
You
I
too.
love you, love, light, and all that.
And thanks for inviting me.
Always.